Yo, what is up, y'all? It's Sean, and today we're diving into Crayo, listen, an AI native integrated content studio designed specifically to streamline the entire creative lifecycle from raw inspiration all the way up to structured publish-ready content. Listen, if you're a creator, a marketer, agency owner, or a operator working inside the AI content ecosystem, you already understand the core tension. Speed is available, everywhere, but structure and cohesion across the workflow are much harder, to maintain at scale. But yeah, before we get into this video, this is really important. Listen, if you've got a business of your own and you want to spotlight it on this channel, contact us, email us, and we can make that happen. Also, don't forget to check out the first link in the bio, in the description of this video. But yeah, listen, Crayo positions itself as a centralized creative engine. Not just for writing, but for ideation, structuring, scripting, asset generation, and organization, all of that. So instead of thinking about it, as a drafting tool, think of it much more as a workspace, that embeds AI across every stage of production, of your production. But yeah, let's break it down properly. Listen, one of the foundational layers inside Crayo is voice profiling. When you begin, you upload your previous content, long form blogs, YouTube scripts, newsletters, captions, podcast transcripts, all of that, whatever best represents your writing and communication patterns. Then the system analyzes linguistic elements such as, your sentence cadence, structure flow, vocabulary density, tone consistency, pacing shifts, formatting tendencies. Listen, over time, this builds a voice model that informs all generation going forward. Listen, so instead of manually then, injecting tone direction, into every prompt, the AI works from a trained stylistic baseline. Listen, that becomes especially valuable when you're producing across multiple formats. Long form educational content, for example, or, short form hooks, conversational podcast segments, visual caption posts, all of that tied to a consistent voice identity. Your identity you've created inside Crayo. Listen, this is really great. And for teams managing brands guidelines, this consistency layer becomes even more critical. Listen, also let's talk about ideation, because this is where, workflow efficiency starts compounding, in my opinion. Inside Crayo, you can input, like I said, a basic topic, a rough concept, a keywords cluster, or just simply links from YouTube, TikTok, Instagram. Listen, the platform then scans these inputs and generates structured creative angles rather than just loose suggestions. You're not just getting topic lists, you're getting hook frameworks, narrative arcs, structural outlines, engagement-driven format suggestions, platform-specific adjustments, all of that. And because it supports cross-platform content analysis, this system doesn't treat a YouTube long-form breakdown the same way it treats a 30-second vertical short, for example. It understands the format mechanics. And listen, this is really important. That structured creativity reduces the friction between idea and execution within your own workflow. So now let's run this in real time. Listen, I'm going to generate a podcast script on a topic I've prepared. Listen, why AI tools are reshaping creative entrepreneurship. Listen, I am keeping this simple, no over-engineered, prompt, just the concept. So let's generate that and you'll see how fast and easy it is to use Crayo. Wow. Okay. So the first thing I noticed, it is not just jumping straight, into generic definitions. As you can see, it opens with the framing hook, then transitions into leverage. Scalability and ownership, shifts into the creator economy, and this structure feels intentional. You got intro, then context, expansion, practical implications, and then forward-looking close. As you can see, the pacing is really natural, and that is important because podcasts live or die on flow. And what's interesting is how quickly it established, a coherent narrative arc without me even, guiding it step by step. Listen, that is exactly where structure generation really shows up. Listen, also when it comes to voice profiling, like I said, you can generate, sound effects, voiceovers, video assets. And that is exactly what I want to show you guys. Listen, I'm going to take this bit, paste it as a prompt for the AI to generate the audio to it. And when it comes to the voice selection, as you can see, you have a library, of those classic voice assets that you can use. But I'm going to take this a bit further. Listen, I am going to submit actually an audio file of one of my latest videos for Crayo to analyze it, and then we'll see how that goes. So when it comes to this part, as you can see, you can actually use your mic to record, as you can see, 3 audio clips, which are going to be studied by the AI. But like I said, I am just going to upload the audio and we'll see how it goes. Welcome back to the show. For years, we talked about the solopreneur, the brave creative, doing everything from coding to copywriting. But as we sit here in 2026, that term feels, well, a bit dated. Today, we're witnessing the rise of the orchestrator. So boom, there you go. As you can see, it actually reads it with, the tonation and all of that. Listen, it hasn't been easier than this. I don't think it even does get any easier than this. But as you can see, this is truly amazing. But yeah, now let's shift the format a little bit. Let's move on to short form vertical content. As you can see, 3 mistakes new creators make when using AI tools. Boom, generates. So listen. As you can see already, the hook is tighter, more direct, the sentences are shorter, the points are much punchier, it is structured for retention. Listen, you can see how the system adjusts tone density and pacing from platform expectations, and that format agility is important, especially when you're repurposing a core idea across multiple channels. Long form YouTube explanation, a podcast segment, TikTok breakdown, same idea, just different packaging. And what stands out the most is how everything was generated inside the same environments where the idea was born. I'm talking about Crayo here. There's no exporting, no switching tabs, no rebuilding assets from scratch. And that workflow compression, is exactly where, efficiency compounds. But let's also talk about the internal economy of Crayo. Listen, Crayo operates on spark points, which function as the creative currency inside the platform. Every time you generate a project, whether that's a script analysis run or, AI built video, the things we just did, you consume spark points. But when you upgrade to paid plans, you actually receive higher spark points allocations. And that is exactly how the system balances, processing power, with output demand. Listen, rather than vague unlimited claims, spark points creates, let me put it this way, a transparent, usage structure, so if you're generating, at high volume, multiple scripts per day, video builds, cross platforms, ideation, you scale your plan accordingly. But for agencies or power creators, I'd say that this model provides predictability. Listen, another operational advantage is organization. Every asset generated, scripts, videos, audio layers, structured outlines, all of that lives inside a searchable library. Listen, instead of scattered, drafts, across cloud folders, and editing platforms, you build a centralized content database. And over time, that becomes a compounding asset. You're not just creating content, you're building an indexed creative system. And the ability to analyze links from YouTube, TikTok and Instagram, introduces a contextual intelligence, into the workflow. So instead of guessing, what's working, you're actually incorporating live ecosystem signals into ideation. It's not just generative speed, it is informed generation. Listen, and in a landscape where, platform dynamics shift quickly, that adaptability really matters. Listen, in overalls, I'd say that Crayo functions the best when you treat it, as a full creative environment, rather than, a one-off writing assistant. The more you feed it voice data, the more you generate inside it, the more structured, your workflow becomes. So for solo creators, this reduces, app fatigue, for example. Just like I said, reduces friction. For teams, it centralizes creative operations. For agencies, it improves brand consistency across client outputs, and all of that in one name to reduce friction. Listen, Crayo sits at, the intersection of, I'd say, speed, structure, and voice preservation. Listen, and compresses ideation, drafting, production, and organization all into one integrated space. So when you watch, a full AI-generated video come together, from a trained voice profile, in just minutes, just like you've seen, it becomes pretty clear, how much, like I said, friction can be removed from modern content workflows. So Listen, if you're operating, inside AI-driven content production, this is the kind of system that can meaningfully optimize how you create at scale. But yeah, listen, if you want to explore Creaibo and see how it fits, into your content workflow, check the first link in the bio. Like I said, this is really important. And as always, keep building. But yeah, also, like I said at the beginning, if you've got a business of your own and you want it spotlighted on this channel, contact us, email us, and we can make that happen. But yeah, see you guys in the next one, and peace.